Hi there, I'm Jean and I'm here on behalf of Scottish Book Trust to help you learn how to vlog. Specifically in this video we're going to be talking about equipment, the technicalities of filming and editing your video. So before you can get around to editing your video, you need to have a video to edit, which means you need something to film your video with. Now I think of the equipment I need to film a video in 4 main components. This is how I break it down, and those are sound, visuals, lighting and stability. So what this might mean in terms of equipment is the use of a microphone, a camera, a professional lighting kit and a tripod. You absolutely do not need all of these things, however. You can make phenomenal videos with equivalents to each of these things that are either much cheaper than you might think or you already have around you. Now firstly, and perhaps most importantly, is some sort of camera recording equipment. Right now I'm filming on a DSLR photography camera, and if you have an actual camera in your house, then that's amazing, but you certainly don't need one. In fact, one of the best pieces of equipment for filming and editing your videos, many of you will already own, and that's a smartphone. Both tablets and smartphones have inbuilt cameras, and a lot of these times these cameras are pretty amazing. For HD quality videos, you need to be able to film in either 720 or 1080p, which many smartphones do. For years I filmed on my iPhone 5, and when I told people, they did not believe me. But trust me, if you do it the right way, then you can make fantastic videos using just your smartphone. The biggest amateur mistake people seem to make when they start filming on their smartphones is to hold the camera vertically. Seriously, you gotta hold it horizontally. Sounds simple enough, but simple and instincts are not always the same. Now, one of the most important things to making these videos look as good as they can possibly look is lighting. However, there is no better lighting than natural lighting. All you're trying to do when you use professional lighting is recreate the effect of natural daylight. So if you want to get the best possible quality out of your videos, try and find an optimum spot for daylight, which means filming within the hours of the day where the sun is out if you can, and sitting in front of a window. It's as simple as that. You can even film outside. That's all I'm doing right now. No professional lighting involved today, simply a window and some light from a slightly overcast Scotland. In terms of sound quality, you can also film quite easily without using a microphone. Your smartphone, tablet or camera will have an inbuilt microphone. To get the most out of the microphone that you already have inside your camera, make sure to find a quiet space, so away from as much background noise as possible, and that's one of the reasons you might want to film inside as opposed to outside, where things like wind or nature can decide to make an appearance in the video. Stop being windy! Secondly, sit reasonably close to the camera so that your voice is easier for it to pick up. Don't sit 5 meters away from the camera in the corner of a room, as it will be much more difficult for your voice to be heard. And with like any speaking exercise, project. Use your outdoor voice for once. And finally, stability. Now it's absolutely amazing if you can get a tripod. If you were to buy any piece of equipment, it's probably what I would recommend the most. And you can get them in a variety of price ranges, taking into consideration that if you're only filming on your smartphone, then you don't need a heavy duty tripod that can support a lot of weight. You can also get specific attachments for any tripod that will take a smartphone or a tablet. Failing that, however, there's no reason you can't just use things you have around the house. Use a stack of books. Just find something that you can balance your recording device on so that it's in line with your face if you're filming yourself. In terms of positioning, if you're filming yourself like I am just now, you either want the camera to be at a level with you or slightly higher and pointed downwards. Of course you can film at whatever angle you want, but those are the ways to avoid people seeing up your nose, simply put. You also, as far as possible, want to look into the lens of the camera, not at the viewfinder on the side where you'll see your face, which can get a little bit distracting when there's all that motion going on next to you. You want to look at the camera as if those are the eyes of the person you're talking to. If you're filming on a smartphone, this equally means trying to look at the recording device as opposed to the screen of your phone if you're filming with the front-facing camera. Filming with the front-facing camera as opposed to the camera on the back of your phone can make it easier for you to make sure you're in frame and everybody can see you properly, but it's completely up to yourself whether you want to film with the camera on the front or the back of your phone. Oftentimes the cameras on the back of phones are slightly higher quality, so give it a little experimentation, see what works for you. Once you've filmed your video though, you might want to edit it. You might not. I know people who make fantastic videos that do no editing. They sit down, they talk, they put it all out there. I, however, am prone to mistakes, so do require a little bit of editing. It also means you can do fun post-production things, and editing is one of my favourite parts of video making. For beginners, the main thing you need is to be able to cut and delete. There's loads of different editing software out there, but you don't need to spend the £300 odd that Final Cut costs to be able to do a lot of the things you want to do with your videos. In fact, if you have a MacBook, it will come with iMovie free and already installed, which is still my favourite go-to editing program because it's so simple to use. You can also download it onto your iPhone or your iPad. And there are, of course, many equivalents out there, but with basic software you can cut your videos at the points where you want to delete certain sections. Maybe you have paused for a long time or messed up what you're trying to say and you want to cut it so that you can delete that little section. If you're on your phone or your tablet, you can do this with your finger. You simply pause the video where it started to get a little bit messy, swipe your finger down where you want the deleted section to begin, and then again where you want it to end, select that section and put it in the trash. In editing you can also do things like add in background music, which might be preferable if you've decided not to speak in your video. When you're picking background music, try to avoid copyrighted music because this can prevent your video from being seen in certain countries, or it may mean you have a copyright claim put against it. There is, however, hundreds of free tracks available on YouTube in their copyright-free library, which if you have an account on YouTube you can download from the Creator Studio and use at your will. Other simple things that you might want to be able to do are split screens where you have two videos playing alongside one another, or add in text, which you can do with most basic softwares. All of these are fun extra elements you can add to your video as you go along, and thankfully there are already tons of in-depth tutorials on YouTube for pretty much anything you want to learn to do on your camera or editing software. Hopefully the advice in this video has helped you get started, and just remember, have fun with it. This is supposed to be fun. So experiment, try new things, and you might even pick up a few interesting skills along the way. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about vlogging, how to get started, or how to get your vlogs out there, then do check out my other videos for Scottish Book Trust, which you can also download to play wherever you are, in or out of the classroom, from their website.